Hello everybody, welcome back to rFactor 2 car tutorials. In this video we're going to update all the material settings on the car to make it look better in game and to get the best out of it possible. So first things first is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to actually take an example car. So I'm going to go to the mass2 file. I'm going to go to rFactor 2 and I'm going to borrow one of the cars installed. Let's go to an ISI car. So why don't we just use the Brabham? Gonna take that one. Here we go, all the way to the bottom. And I'm just gonna extract it. Documents, where we are. Make new folder. Let's call it rFactor 2 DT44 maps. Extract. There we go. I'm going to open it now. Here it is. There we go. That's the Brabham, the ISI one. Now, right click to hide the collision, so we can see. I mean, that doesn't matter for settings. As you can see, it looks quite nice. And right click, material. There we go. WC car body. That's what it's called. It'll be the same for your car, hopefully. That's the livery, the main livery. If we have a look, you can see the Ferraris. We get rid of the shadow and collision. There you go. You can see it's the bodywork, and it's the same for the Brabham. All of that livery. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to car paint with damage. This first one will be the livery, so that's actually within the team's thing. That's why you call it this. So it looks for the it says you can change the livery if there's one in the team's mass in there. We'll add it later, don't worry. That one could be anything, but the first one it comes with. Now here, the second one is normally a body damage or the body again. So it's just done it twice. What I do, if I open, there's normally body damage. So I'll go to all my mods here. Let's go to ETCC. Actually no, let's go F1 2009, the work in progress, and I'll go to maps. Have a look. This should be a thing called body damage. If I copy it and I'll go back to my documents. Place into my maps. I'll show you. Oh, okay. If I go here, I'll just show you what it's like. There you go. It is normally just a grey thing, but the text should work. It needs to be colourless, I believe. So personally, if you just open a Photoshop or anything and then just do like a grey colour, or borrow one from another mod, that should work, because that's what I do. Doesn't do anything really, it's just there to make it look good, so I'll not change it. But for the moment, this one, you should kind of remember what goes where. So that needs the S file, which we'll have a look here, is this one needs to go down to here. So we're going here and I'll move it across, so text underscore, there you go. So click OK, changes it, and I'm going to make it, this is the number here, you might think does nothing. If I put it to 0, I'll make it widescreen. If I put, look, you can see it's a bit blurry. If I make it -1, it's less blurry. If I make it -2, even less. I go with 1.2, -1.2. ISI haven't done that, but that's their decision if they feel that it looks good enough. It just makes it, as you can visually see, less blurry from certain angles. If you go 2, looks a bit better, but 1.1 in game looks 1.2 sorry, looks okay in game. So we go like that, and I'm going to do the same for the S file 1.2. I'm going to change this one to the body damage because I like doing that. That can be 0. Mini mapping, I'll put it on true. Now I don't believe it comes with a B file, the bump file. No. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, it sometimes it would be nice to have a mapped. You might find that if we look at the Brabham, it has a bump file. Yeah, it does, and it is normally of the S. Oh no, it's not. It's a pretty simple one. It's just a non. It's not mapped. Like, it's not as important. It's just important it exists. It's just important it exists. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to right click and paste. What was it called? Let's just rename it. Like the others, text, and just B. There we go. There we go. Boom. And then that can be left at 0 because it's not mapped. I'm going to take car cube DX9 because that is generally most used. You can use the original, I guess. This one has this one. Anything with cube in it, you can see it reflects there. You can see a little bit of reflection. But I just personally like using the newer stuff. You know, it works. I know it works. And if I click it, it looks a bit better. Looks a bit different. So I prefer it. Leave that at 0 and true. Reflection mapper true. Now if we go towards the bottom here, I'll just show you the Brabham. These are the most important parts. Don't think it just works when you add it. You do have to do a bit more than what I've done so far. But car, so the shader here, car paint with damage, is effectively, you need the main livery, this one, the body damage as the first channel, second channel the S file, which should be white, but it should definitely be colourless like this one. It's, you can visually see it's a lot different. And the B is the bump. That one should always be this blue colour. It doesn't have to be mapped, it can just be a tiny little speck as long as it has one. And then the last one should be the cube. There you go. All of it should be true. I mean, I don't notice any differences with true or false. And again, the trick of the -1.2 works. But this bit is the important bit in reflection. If I show you, we can see it's 1,0 replace. That just means it's a solid. Because if you do other stuff where it's like alpha blend transparency, and it makes it more like a window, so it looks weird and wrong. But we'll just leave it at that. Generally, I just, you know, I borrow car settings and adapt if need be. So you can see it's a 1,0 replace, and then these don't have much effect. If I show you, if I click on it, it has a little bit. You can see the tint changes. That one's definitely changed. If I go default, you can see, yeah. But generally, if you want the correct color, the pure reflection, you just leave it as white. So FFF specular, you can do. I know personally, you can do F2, F2, F2. But again, that's pretty much like FFF. I'm going to leave it at that, but the 6th F is if you just go, that doesn't make any difference. If I type in again, have a look. That doesn't change. It's not that hugely important. For the sake of it, we'll just copy what the Brabham does. Specular power has a bit of power in it. It changes how shiny it can be. So if you have a look, oh, it didn't really change actually. Hang on. Oh, okay. That's surprisingly low for 100 actually. Yeah, it's not doing much. In game it might work a bit better. It's saying 100. Okay, go 100. Right, these two is basically how the car shines and reflects the light. So you can see we've got 0.9. That's the first one, is how it shines. If I show you, they all are, but look. If I change these to 1, you can visually see it got a lot darker very quickly. If I go back, look at that, very shiny, and then a lot less shiny. It's still shining slightly, not as much. There's still more we need to do, but if I just go back to the Brabham, you can see. I'm just going to copy this So right click, copy it all, we can do it individually. Again, right click, select all, delete this, paste, in it goes. Here again, copy, do the same, the top one, paste, and you can see doesn't look that shiny. Now cube blend percentage, how much do you want? You want 100% for the car, so do that, leave everything else here looks good. But this text file, you can see it's very dark. Now you need the Photoshop, something that's Photoshop like, so GIMP or anything. I use CS2, I'll put the link in the description because it is free. It's not the best, it's not brilliant. No, right. So you can see it's quite dark now. It's 41, so it's really quite dark. Now I'm going to go image adjustments, brightness and contrast. I'm just going to go 100%. How much brighter is that? 41. Yeah, it's still quite dark. You need, I'd say bare minimum 200. So let's go about 80 this time. How bright is it now? 221. Yeah, that seems better. So I'm just going to roughly go with that. Save. You can save it as something else if you don't want to overwrite it, but you do have the backup in the rFactor 1 maps. Save, dxt5, everything else should be fine, doesn't need changing. Save, go back here. Now because you changed it, you need to, what I do is I select something else, and I go back and I select that. And now you can visually see, look how much shiny that is. The S file is the reflecting, so the darker it is, the less shine you get. You can visually see making it brighter has definitely made it shinier. Let's go to, again, we'll open this, but this looks really quite white. Looks like 2, yeah, look, 246. This map, it is mapped a bit better, but I wouldn't, you know, it adds a bit more detail. It could just be, you could go fully white, you could go just fully white if you really wanted to cheat and you didn't have a mapped S file. If you just do this, that would work just as well. You maybe lose a bit on detail, but you know, it's the same with the bump. You can get away with it if it hasn't got one. If it does have one, do what I did and just increase the brightness. It doesn't look great, but it just works just as well. It still reflects. So we're about 20 behind on here, but that's not disastrous. I am gonna open the body one because I think the alpha. So if you go to channels, you can look at alpha. It's quite bright. It's quite bright, actually. Okay, and then we'll go just check the Ferraris because that's really quite shiny. Open this one. That's look at that, 100% white. Whereas this, you can see visually here, look, it's mapped out, so the darker bits where it's carbon perhaps, or areas that won't get as much light are darker. This one is just straight up white, but you can do is you can take the S one, we can do Control A and Control C to copy, go back here. If you go in here, Control V, it's quite a bit smaller, but if I go image, if I go transform, let's go scale, and we can just clicks into place. You can see it clicked, and again clicked. So that's on the edge. Get that out of the way. Click, click. Let's go. Click the tick button. There you go. You can see. If I do that, you can see it matches. You can see. Well, look here. Matches the front wing. It is the same. So that's a good way to get an alpha that you want. Again, you could just go full white or the colour. I'm just going to go save that, back here, do the same as before. Blue Ferrari, go here. That's still very shiny, isn't it? But I think I'm going to go back and open the teams one. Extract that. Teams, sticking teams. Right, so what I'm going to do is actually going to open a Bravum actual file they use for the thing. Let's go OK. You can definitely see it looks nice. Looks very nice setting. So let's just have a look at the alpha. That's quite high. Interesting. So we can see it's quite shiny. Now you have the choice, you can just leave it. In fact, why don't we just do that? We've done this. So we're going to leave it and we'll come back to it. Now you can see all these lists, you might think, oh no, that's a lot to do, but I wouldn't worry too much. It's all, so if you click this, it tells you where it is, so you can have a look and you go, what is it? What part is this? And T1 is just no shader. It's a, for stuff like this you could go, well, you could have a shader, but for now it's quite well hidden. So, oh, it's an inverted thing. Not sure. The chrome is down here. I do have a chrome setting, but so T1 it is the gear stick, as you can see. Doesn't look disastrous. Dash is all T1. We can change that. Let's make that. It's a roll hoop, isn't it? Yeah. Right, we can make that similar. Let's look at the browser and see what it's done for its cockpit and dash. I think it's a specular map. It is specular map 1. So we'll go there. Click here again. Specular map T1. And you need the S file version of the dash. Pretty sure we won't have one. There's dash. So what you can do, open Photoshop. Ooh, I forgot, let's close. It's getting a lot. Close, saved it all. Here we go. Gonna go image, adjustments, hue and saturation, and then saturation minus 100, just makes it black and white, because obviously that's what's got to be for the S file. It's got to be black and white. And we're gonna have a look at the Bradham's. How bright is it? It's kind of not, you can see it's not fully white. So I'm gonna make it just a little bit lighter. Just a smidge. Let's go 30, I think that'll do. Save as. No, you don't want to copy that, you want to go S like that. Save, easy. Go back, go here, find the S version, there it is. And there you go, look. It's not super shiny, but it should reflect better to the sunlight. It's the main, you can see where it is. So it's the, now, if you want a shine, you need the cube file added. Now, that's entirely your opinion on what you want. Because you can see this is the dash, it's the gearbox and that bit there. I'm going to just go and copy the same settings across here. Paste, enter, make sure it's copied correctly. You can do it manually. This is 90, going to copy all that. Delete, paste. You can see it got a bit darker. If I do 90, will it change? Oh, that's 60. 90, a little bit darker again. There is a bit of a shine, you can see it's reflecting. And that's it, I believe. Yeah, it's similar. There we go. We'll have a look in game, but it was better than being just T1. The engine is at the back, I'm guessing. Yep. It's all that, and it's all T1 apparently. That's going to make it look really flat. So, if you really want to just save time, you can just do, basically get this, just get one S file, make it white, or however white you want it to be, and the same with the bump, and you can just add that, rather than having each thing doing what I just did, it would save time, I guess. Make a little bit of difference if you did, but not a huge amount. You can see it's we can leave that as T1. I think for the engine that's difficult to know, but we'll have a look at the Brabham. I think that'll be again, yeah, specular. It'll be the same situation. Might not be a bad idea. I might just do that now. Go back. Done. Let's go open that again. Thank you, bye-bye. So we're gonna go image adjustments, hue and saturation. Oh no, edit and do hue and saturation. Saturation down to nothing. Gonna increase it a lot because it is quite dark. Yeah, that'll do. I think that's quite white now. Yeah. Some of it's really bright, so that'll do. The alpha doesn't matter on the S files. This alpha doesn't matter. It does on the first ones though, on the livery and stuff. It's definitely worth doing it on the liveries, but everything else is, can leave it as it is. Look at the detail, that looks a bit better now. Even visually. So I think it's the same settings, yep. Look pretty similar. That's 90. F3, F3, F3. Just gonna copy this across. Paste. Yep, a bit darker, but it looks a bit better. Could do if you want on the engine. Let's just do what we did before, -2. Let's zoom out and we go from 2 to... You can see it looks a bit different, doesn't it? It looks like it moves. It's just a detail. Even look at that. Let's go -1.2 on it. Same here. What was the very first one? So that's the overall suspension. And the disc. Yeah, that should probably be spec'd in that 3. Do the same again if you want. Pretty sure. We go here, we spec'd in that. Yep. Disc. Oh, disc is different, okay. Rims will be different. Rims are spec'd in that. Okay. It will shine, just not super reflective. But that's not what you want necessarily all the time. Gears. See, that's clearly not gears. Don't know what you are. Oh, it's the gear stick and the seat. We'll leave that as T1. That's not hugely important. You can't see it behind the driver. Here, no, when we're in game, this was quite shiny, and you know why. Because if you have a look, it's a cube map, and it's using this, so it's reflecting. It's really bad setting for rFactor 2. I don't know if the Brabham uses one. I don't think it does. So, personally, I don't see the point. I'm just going to leave it as a T1 because it's not actually a glass object. It's just the texture of the thing. There is no glass. So I think unfortunately we'll just have to leave it as a T1 because obviously you won't be able to see the information on the background. So it isn't glass, it's just going to have to be a T1, which is fine. That's another moving part. Radiator. These bits here you can make spec in that. I think I'm going to do that. Radiator. Yep, I'm going to have to open in Photoshop, make another S file. I'll save as S file. So we go back, look for the new file, there it is. Go back and make that the same as the other ones we saw, F3, 90. And if you forget, ooh, bit close. If you forget, just make it same as this. There it is. Go back to the other materials you had. Paste it on. Paste. There you go. Bit darker. Bit better. Yay. What's next? Rev counter. That's the actual working one. Steering wheel. Steering wheel's T1. I can definitely make that better material. What does ISI use? Speculum map. No surprise. It works. You might think they're all the same. What's the point? But if it works in game and it looks good, then just use it. You know, rFactor 2 is different from other games. Don't get knocked or feel like it's pointless. It definitely is. You know, even if it's all the same and you're thinking, oh, it's not as advanced as other games, it's definitely not true. Saturation. I could just do brightness in here. Whoa, too much now. Brightness. Let's go 100. Yeah, what do you save as? S. There we go. That's been saved. Go back. There we go. Wheel S. Yeah, adds a bit of depth to it now. Looks a bit better. What's this part? Oh, that's dash. Dash, we've done made it specular there. That's alright. Wheel. F3. F3, F3. 90. Look how much shader we've got. Wowie. Just gonna copy that again. Copy. Copy and paste. There you go. Look at that. Bit more depth to it. To the wheel. Still need to fix rotation on that. Text 2. This seems to be the under bit of the car. That's text. It's T1 again. Now, I would be inclined to make this a... I'm gonna check what the problem does. Can't be a spec. It is a spec. What? This is kind of annoying here. So you see the underbody is actually, it's all specular map 1. Yeah, let's make it specular. I would maybe, if I could spend more time, I would make it the same as the car body, and I would make it car paint damage and control the reflections by the S file and the alpha. But since we don't have a lot, you know, that would take a lot more work, and you'd have to do the same layout as the car livery was done, so this is just a little bit easier to do. There's no point making it ridiculously complex. Well, if it doesn't work in game, I'll go back and say it's terrible, what have I done? But you know, even if it doesn't work, you're still making an S file, so it's definitely worth your time. So done that. Go get the S file. Here we go. There we go. Darker. It's exactly the same as the other ones, but it must work. If it doesn't, a little bit screwed. 90. Copy this one. Control V. Paste. Done. You can see it's a bit darker. Water temp, that was dash window. Aha. Window we can copy. So let's go to the window here. Windshield, that's windshield in, and oh, it's two different. I'm gonna go with the first one. If it doesn't work, we'll change it. Cube map specular map 1, I believe. There we go. Ooh, see-through. Is there more than one? It isn't. It's just one. That's fine. That's fine. That works for us. It needs to be an S and a Q. Do we have an S? I'm pretty sure we don't. Let's go window. Where are you, window? Window. So open it. You can see adjustments, hue and saturation. Let's make it as bright as possible. Just 100%. Go for it. Yep. Is that? I don't know if that's bright enough. Looks a little bit dark. Well, let's have a look at the Brabhams. See how bright its one is. Looks quite bright. It's like 100%. Yeah. Make it a bit more. We'll add 50. That's 40. 40 to this one. Have a look. Looks a lot better. So we'll save it as an S file. S saved. Yep. It wasn't a DS file, that one. For some strange reason it's a TGA. Might work in our disadvantage. We will find out. Yep. True. You can see here, look, the settings I was telling you earlier, this is for Windows, so you can see through it. Otherwise it would be like a solid block. It does need to be different. FD. 13 apparently. It's close. 13, there you go. Looks alright. You can see through that, kind of, can't you? We'll have a look. If it doesn't look very good, we can go back and change it. This one was 29, so it should reflect a bit more. It's a bit darker there, you can see. Chrome will leave. These are the tyres. Annoyingly, these wheels are all attached as one. Tread, I don't know why that's there. Brake disc, can't really see that. You can make it a different shader if you want. Specular map probably work. Mirror in rFactor 2 will need changing. You need to make this shader pretty simply. I've gone past it. No lighting text text 1. There we go. Okay. Mirror here. Be the same. Render has to be true. I'm going to change this to I'm going to make it dark. This one. Just make it dark. There you go. That seems good to me. So now what I'm going to do is change most things. I'm going to have a look in game. Now I'm going to export it all, back up and test it in game. There we go. So, not my car, here we go. No missing textures, you can see, look at that, a bit shinier. Car looks a bit better. Window looks okay too. So let's go back, try it in game. Here we go, and if you already look, it looks a lot, look at the texture. Wow, that looks good, doesn't it? You can see the reflection is a lot better than the bodywork. That looks a lot nicer. Who's driving that? Let's just follow him around. You can see it shows off the environment very well. If we go in cockpit view, the steering wheel looks a lot more detailed. So is the cockpit. You can see all the dials now working as well. So that's great. And look, you go around the corner in the sun. Wherever the sun is, it reflects a bit differently. We still need to fix the wheel. We can fix that. But it looks so much better. And that's what you have to do. You just have to use the car as an example. You can make it a bit different. If you felt it wasn't as shiny, you can change the alpha on the main bodywork, or you can change the S file, or the settings of reflection, increase it slightly and see what it looks like in 3D Sim. It normally increases the surrounding areas a bit better, but it looks, I mean, ISI cars generally, their settings are pretty good. You can see, look at that, it looks so much better. It looks a lot more detailed as well. Looks great from my view. And that's all it takes. Half an hour, maybe more, you know, it depends. You get quicker, you do, but look at that. It looks fantastic. But yeah, as you can see, it looks a lot better. If you like what we've done with the main body, just apply it to what I said, like the suspension, if you got the time. Do the same thing, but each part, you know. And then if it looks good in game, great. If it doesn't, just adjust, make the S file dark if it's too shiny. If it's not shiny enough, increase the alpha or the S file or the settings. Just a little bit. So first one is the main important one I find in terms of increasing the shine or decreasing it. Sometimes it can be like 0.1 or 0.2 or sometimes 0.012. It can be quite a low value, quite high. So you can see that even in the rear wing you can see the reflection and the engine bay looks better. Ignore the weird shine, that's my PC. It's not very well recently. But yeah, it looks so much better, and it's simple things like that. It makes it look a lot better. I'll show you how to add the pivot now to the wheel. Okay, so let's go File, Import. Now you want to find your steering wheels. If you've got more than one, you need to do this one at a time, remember. We've only got one, so that's okay. It's the steering wheel, there we go. There it is. Now, as you can see, looks okay. So if we go to Edit and Center Model and Set Pivot Point, it's blank. Now you're thinking, okay. So go back where we were and go open your old one. The original rFactor one. Here we go. I've opened it as an object. If you do it as a singular, that's fine, but you can see here, there are the pivot points. Now what we can do is just going to copy each one and go, the Y one goes here, OK. Copy this one, center model again, OK, and it was -0. It won't make a difference, but do that. And then we're going to go export as model. So save it here, ready, save it here. Now we're going to repackage it all. Here we go. And we're ready to find out if it worked or not. So here we go. And look, rotating perfectly on the axis where you told it to. So now it's no longer going through the bodywork. We watch, it rotates where you told it to, and it looks perfect. I mean, the window looks great as well. That setting actually worked really well. You can see out of it perfectly, but it's still there. Nice hint of blue as well. Look at that. That looks pretty perfect to me. See, I think the tyres need work. It's causing these flashes. I didn't do everything because the tyres and rim, unfortunately, in this car are made as one texture. Hopefully on yours, your rim and your tyres are two different things. So I'm going to show you what it should look like now. Okay, here we go. This is the Brabham ISI, and you can see object tyre and object rim. You need to, if they're together like the Ferrari, if I show you what the Ferrari looks like, it's a real pain to do this, unfortunately, but here we go. You can see it's all as one, and the material is all as one as well. Now you want to make two, so if we go documents, and we're just going to make a new folder within the maps, and I'll go new wheels, save as that. I'm going to copy one, copy, paste, and I'm going to rename this one to rim. I'm going to paste again, and that one can actually be the tyre. So one will be the rim. So what you're going to do is, when you go import as a singular, you can edit the faces. So if you right click, go edit face, and then you go over here, and this deletes it, and then you can see it's gone. Now what I'm going to do, if you're very careful, if you hit control and hold the left click button, go across, and you can just go faces, delete, and look, delete all that, but I've still kept the rim. Now be very careful when you do this, but this just gets rid of a whole clunk of them a lot quicker than it would by going edit face, delete, edit face, delete. You can see it's just going to take forever and ever. So that is the best way to do it. You're going to have to do individuals, but just basically do it until all this is gone, and then round the edge here you're just going to go delete, delete, and until you get just the rim. Basically what it should look like is this. So you get a tyre, and then the material setting you can see is this. It's a special one, so the tyre actually visibly moves when driving the car in game, so it flexes and it squidges down, and you can see in the slow motion videos of F1 cars it moves, and that's what this setting does. So yeah, I mean, again, you look at the car example, it's pretty simple. You've got the normal file, this is the rim, you've got the S, and then you've got the bump, so the specular and the bump, then you've got the damage. These are all universal, the damage ones. You can see it hasn't got it, but in game it should. So if you find a car that has it, take it and copy it to an extent. Down here, how many times it's repeated, you see the wheel is rotating. That is the speed, so the faster you go, the more it increases. So when it's slow, it's this. You pick up, it goes like this. Then when you're going really, really fast, it's going like that. And then here you can see it's a changing texture as well. So that controls this movement. You can see it's really fast, wet, and now it's slick. And it's all done, if I click on the tread one, it's all done by here, because you're telling it to go start off as 1, so 0, 1, 2, and then you got 4, 5, well, it's 5 is here. So you can see how it works. You start off with 0 here, 6 seconds, and it rotates. And it's pretty cool. And you got to do the same for the specular. You can just have 1, I guess, but if you want, again, it's pretty simple. And that makes it a tyre, and then the rim, just as an object, as you know, you can make it specular so it doesn't bounce. So unfortunately for me, I'm going to have to do this, which is going to take forever. So I won't show you, but it should hopefully end up like this. And yeah, I think apart from that, everything you need to do, if you need to delete faces, you can. If you want, you can. Another trick is you go here, go to the points. You can do that, and you go to MS. Now this copies the pivot point, and you can go here. Say you've got a little gap between the two faces, you can edit it, and you can go MR. So you've copied the point you want to move to. MR is where you want it to be. Click it. You can see it's visibly moved to there. That's if you've got a gap or you want to edit slightly. Personally, would feel like it should be okay. If it's not, that's why it's there for. Everything else you should be able to do. If not, again, leave a comment or message me, and I'll try and get back to you. I am trying my best. It's very difficult to explain and make sure everyone understands, but I'm trying to do the basic, not get too in depth, because if I shove everything at you at once, it's going to go fizzling out, I feel. So we'll do the basics first, and if you do have any questions of your own, please feel free to ask, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible.